Hey, and welcome to a impromptu celluloid and Scotch. We originally had the Mask of the Phantasm scheduled for today, but we had to push it back a week. So we'll be having the crossover next week with John's Comics, Fire Guy Ryan, Bearded Comic Bro. We may have one other person joining us who I'm going to keep secret because they may or may not show up. So if you guys haven't watched that episode of the crossover, go check out John's Comics channel, and you can watch us progressively get more inebriated and stuff to get heated during the rankings.
Except for me, I don't get heated or inebriated.
It was an interesting conversation because, I mean, as bitchy as it got, we stayed respectful, I thought, for the most part. As always, joined by my co-host Carlito. And by the way, if you're looking in the chat, is your rent showing up? Because I added you as a mod.
I am not looking in chat since I was so late. I didn't even pull it up.
Okay, I added you as a mod, so if the Russian
I think you
start showing
did
up,
that last. You did. I don't know. I thought
after John's show, I added you because the
because I stopped by another show and I had the blue wrench. So yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So real quickly before we dive into the open discussion part, but I guess this is part of the open discussion part. The Oscars happened. As you know, there was the slap heard around the world. I hate the fact that it now overshadows people who it's their first time. They've never been there. They may never get back. And I know people think the Oscars aren't important, but it gives you a bit of clout. Look at Ryan Coogler after Fruitvale Station. Like, it was his small film, won an Oscar, and he gets Creed. And his career explodes after that. We had Dune, which won 6 fucking Oscars. Anybody talking about it? Nope. Coda, which I never got to see, but that was, I believe, the best film, if I recall, for this year.
So, yeah. I honestly didn't watch. And I did follow some of the Dune stuff on Twitter.
I followed on Twitter. That's mainly where I came in.
Because I retweeted like a bunch of Dune winnings and stuff, but other than that, I kind of avoided any other talk until the next morning when I woke up and everybody's still talking about it. So,
you had Questlove from The Roots and many other things. He wins, and again, overshadowed by this event.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt the award show was a joke in general just because they had the fan choice, which Zack Snyder fans just obliterated to get Army of the Dead to win, which...
Yeah, I'm sure Greg voted like 100 times for that.
Bearded Snyder guy.
Oh, man.
Again, I just wanted to give quick thoughts on it because I'm annoyed by it, and also I'm annoyed by the fact of because it's Will Smith, they didn't kick his ass out. There was a story about the guy on the who was in The Godfather who was kicked out of the Academy because he was bootlegging movie screeners, which totally makes sense if it's someone from The Godfather doing that.
Yeah, it's a shame. I watched Questlove's, winning the award, and then, like I said, the Dune stuff, and then other than that. It's sad because growing up as a kid, I used to love the Oscars, and it was a big deal to me, and even somewhat through my adulthood. But it's become very convoluted and misguided, and I don't even know what to call it. The last half decade or so. So,
well, it's weird because the Golden Globes are even the more fucked out one, like where the foreign press, like.
Oh yeah.
But I will go and say, like, Denis Villeneuve should have been put in for Best Director because, again, say what you want about the film if you say it's boring. I know some people say that.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know anybody that says that, but
You
I've
do.
seen it around. But
You do. You 100%
God.
know a person who John.
Jesus.
He disliked it, but he also said
Really?
it was beautifully shot. So
I
it's one
didn't.
of those say what you want.
I guess I didn't think he disliked it that much, but I guess so.
Award shows are hard to watch for me. That's what like Twitter was made for award shows for me. Like that's where I fall around. Like I could give a shit about the Grammys, but every now and again I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. That person won. That's my limit of
Yeah.
it. I still think the Oscars are a big deal for up and coming directors and cinematographers.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I think they're a big deal for the technical community.
Yes. Sound,
sure, so.
VX. I was gonna be surprised if Dune didn't win for sound, or
Or if Hans didn't win, that would have been ridiculous.
I never saw a movie this year that I thought had a better score.
Nope.
And of course, my film going experience was a little jilted because COVID and all that. We're seeing stuff in the cinema. There was a movie I feel got snubbed.
What was that?
Cyrano with Peter Dinklage.
I may have. No, I don't.
I believe it's on Prime right now.
Was it strictly for Prime?
No, it had a limited theater release, but
really,
my God, it was fucking great. And Peter Dinklage, like,
he's phenomenal, man.
He is fantastic. I forget what the movie was. I saw him in years and years ago, but he was great. But I also saw him in that terrible movie, Tiptoes, with Matthew McConaughey, where they were twin brothers.
God, I have not seen that.
And Matthew McConaughey knocked up Kate Beckinsale, but she was falling in love with Peter Dinklage, and Peter Dinklage had cornrows.
Nice. I remember the first experience I had with Peter Dinklage was Nip Tuck. And that was awesome.
I remember like Nip Tuck came out. So at that time,
early mid 2000s, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Carnival was on, I think it was HBO or Showtime at the time, and fuck, I love Carnival.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I don't think I've ever seen any of it.
So I want to get a discussion out of the way real early. So we've been talking in our own private chat about the Godfather 4K set. We're both on the fence about buying it because I want it, but at the same time, I don't want to own part 3. Same thing I had with the Indiana Jones, where I don't want Crystal Skull.
Really? Yeah, I guess I'm hardcore, man, because I love Godfather Part 3. And I'm so down for getting that set too. The only thing I'm hesitant about is the timing right now. But yeah, other than that, I'm good to go as soon as I get back from Vegas.
So if it drops another $10 or $20, just like that Bond set where like Amazon had it for $30, I was like,
yeah,
I don't care if I don't like 3 of them. It's worth it for 2 of them. And then I bought No Time to Die, and then I have the set now.
So I always ask this of everyone: what don't you like about Part 3?
So weirdly, it's the way they had Pacino go out, Michael, at the end. There were parts of it, of course, Coppola's daughter acting in it. She's not great. But then when you find out, like, Winona Ryder was supposed to be the daughter and last minute dipped. Yeah. And there's a whole fucking backstory behind that, which actually led to Coppola doing Dracula. I thought Andy Garcia was fucking great.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And that is one of his performances I don't think people ever fucking talk about. That part with Bridget Fonda, where he's like, okay. I don't give a shit about the woman. Kill her. I don't give a fuck. I got a gun. There's 2 of you. I'll take. I thought
I don't even remember that part. I gotta rewatch it.
It's when those guys bust into his apartment and he's just like,
oh yeah.
I thought that was one of the greatest moments with him. But every performance with him and Sophia, we're not going. She's like, hey, cuz, is it right that we're falling in love? Like, I thought that story was not good in it, and it was a little overly long.
Yeah.
At the same time, so I got to ask you: are you more of a fan of part 1 or part 2?
Man, Jesus, that really depends on the day.
I mean, part 2 is like an opus. It's a long movie, but it's a fucking entertaining movie to watch from front to back.
I mean, I would say, I mean, there's no part 2 without part 1, but
yes,
yeah, I'd say 90% of the time to lean towards part 2 is my favorite of the two.
I thought the subplot of Hyman Roth and everything going on it was just entertaining, especially with Michael. Your father did business with Hyman Roth, but he didn't trust Hyman Roth.
Oh yeah.
Frankie Angels or something.
Pentangeli. I can't remember his...
Yeah, where he's like, we're at the wedding. We're at the party. He's like, come on.
Yeah, dude, he was great, man.
When Romans went to kill, when he basically asked to kill himself instead of face getting killed. Yeah. And the whole Fredo subplot. Oh God, such a mush. And I adore that part where he's out fishing. When I used to go out fishing, I do a prayer to St. Christopher. God.
Just, yeah. I feel you on that one.
But, I mean, the fact that Godfather 1 worked is a miracle because Brando was such a pain in the ass. They had to pin the script onto people's backs in scenes.
Dude, it almost didn't even get made either because I think at the time...
the Italian unions, the stereotypes.
Right. They were just... Who was that? What's his face? Columbo was like up in arms. I think he got assassinated though, so...
Yeah.
Kind of...
There was... It's a fascinating story behind all of it because like Mario Puzo was very, very involved. And again, the negative Italian stereotype that after the 40s they were trying to really get rid of, that they were all mobsters.
And if you watch, I don't know if you know who Michael Francis is.
Yes.
But God, I love his podcast. I watch him a lot. But I think he actually talks about how The Godfather wouldn't even have got made if they hadn't. I think it was Puzo and a couple other guys sat down with the Columbos and everybody, and basically they gave the okay finally to do it.
And honestly, like, I don't think The Godfather works without that opening wedding scene. Because not Italian, Brando sitting down with, you come here on the day of my daughter's wedding and you ask me for murder. You won't ever come here and ask me for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it's such an interesting back and forth they have. And, you have Sonny who basically they're like, he can't run this family. He's fucking nuts.
Yeah, Puzo's he's a good writer, man.
And it's so interesting. And like, this is the same time frame where you had this movie and fucking Exorcist come out.
Oh yeah, it was about the same time.
And you have them off these two books that were highly controversial at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, The Exorcist.
Especially for Catholics.
Oh, yes. I mean, The Exorcist, I think, kicked off satanic panic.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's weird that, like, that is a movie to this day will still fucking haunt you.
Oh, fuck yeah. Dude. I like to pride myself in not being afraid of anything. That was the first movie that legitimately, like,
so Rod the Rican
shook me to the core.
Just the Rican in his comics, Rod, he walked out during one of the screenings he went to, like, later in life on a date.
Really?
It freaked him out. He couldn't handle it. And he was like,
I did not know that.
He hates scary movies.
Dude, so, okay, I actually I've had a love-hate sometimes. I went away for a while from them, but As a kid, I loved them, or I thought I did, and then back towards mid 20s, early 30s, I started getting back into them. But yeah, like the first time I saw that, I was home alone, sick from school, and nobody was there except for the dogs, and it was just me. And yeah, it was like broad daylight, and I was still just like, I didn't want to open the bedroom door.
Did you watch the extended cut? Because there is a director's cut of that. Okay, yeah.
I went to the theater when they did the re-release.
Okay.
And I watched it, and I'm like, holy shit.
Also, like, chat people in here, if you have questions that you want to ask us, like, this is the time to do it, because we're just bullshit. So basically, after the show, you're basically hearing what our normal discussion is, where we're just going, yeah, like,
well, real quick, I was gonna ask you, if someone comes in that like wants to come on, are you open to maybe having them?
If they want to, we'll just have to. I don't want to drop the link in the chat, but yeah.
If
we want to DM them, it's fine.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't look like there's gonna be that many people.
No, I thought about inviting Puff, but I didn't know if it was gonna be too last minute.
That would have been cool.
And also like, Puff and Varangian Vigilante do 80s movies and 90s. If you
I
love
can't catch the
movies,
live, but I love watching rewatch the.
So outside of gore, Varangian Vigilante is an encyclopedia of schlock action and horror movies. We had him on to do Reanimator with Jen and I, and it was. Oh, by the way, Jen wants to come on and do Lighthouse.
That should be interesting.
That is her movie. So the first time she watched it, she took some edibles.
Oh, dear Lord.
And her and Cinia Reeds both think it's a comedy.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's some parts where I thought were pretty funny.
There were, especially beating the seagull to death. And honestly, this is the movie that made me think Robert Pattinson could do a very grimy, dirty movie. Because he's fucking unhinged in that movie. Subtly unhinged.
Yeah, true.
So going totally off subject, but we're on horror for a minute. Scream 5 comes out on 4K and Blu-ray this week. On the 5th. Do you like the term elevated horror?
To be honest, this is the first time I've heard it.
Oh, in Scream 5, the girl, the first phone call, she's like, well, I love elevated horror, like the Hereditary and the Babadook.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
It sounds so pretentious.
I was just going to say, that sounds like a term that the director of those movies might have coined. But
I think there's a place for those movies, but I don't think...
See, okay, I can respect, especially Hereditary and even The Witch and Midsummer. Like, they're all very well made. The lighting, the cinematography, the score.
Oh, Ari Aster can shoot a fucking movie. Yeah. And he even does lens flare in it, but it's not pretentious like J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, and even the casting and, for the most part, the stories are pretty solid. I just feel, and maybe it's just me, I know I've talked to John and Ryan and everybody about this, and I'm pretty much the only one that thinks this, but it just feels like in the last act, they always kind of, they're always kind of a letdown, I guess is the best way to put it.
It's a Stephen King movie. Yeah. Where Stephen King can't land the ending, but everything leading up to it,
but the first 2/3 are great. You know, like Hereditary, the first 2/3, I'm like, oh my god, this might be one of the best horror movies I've ever seen.
So I'm going to be honest. A24 finally released an action-packed movie. The horror movie X that just came out.
Oh, you've seen that?
If you take Boogie Nights and mix it with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm not fucking kidding. It is Boogie Nights meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Awesome.
The score is fucking fantastic.
I had a feeling that one might have a good score. I can't remember who did it, but
it is so not an A24 film that I literally stayed through the credits to make sure I saw that it was A24.
Huh.
And maybe they're learning.
Maybe.
Or
I mean,
they
I
found
really
a
like
director.
Green Room, and I really liked
Oh,
Ex Machina is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. I think we
so
should discuss that someday. But
I gotta say, like Green Room, low key slept on.
oh yeah, for sure. And
And
shout
also
out to
Anton Yelchin.
yeah, man.
I mean,
Shout out to Perry Nemiroff. She's when I first started on her Patreon, and you could send her like messages to ask her like what to recommend for the month or something. She recommended Green Room. I checked it out and I was like, holy shit, she wasn't lying. This is awesome.
you know, shout out to Morbius, the movie with Jared Leto getting fucking gang fucked by reviews right now.
Holy shit. So I have another friend named Dan, and he's a comedian, and he has this YouTube show he's done since before YouTube was popular called the Doomcast. Yeah, he doesn't have many subscribers or nothing, but he's like comic book dude. But he posted today, he's like, Morbius is slept on, it's one of the best Marvel and like Sony movies, blah blah blah. And I'm like, what day is today? And I look, it's April Fool's. I'm like, you mother.
So Legendary Pictures today posted that there was going to be another MonsterVerse film.
Oh, cool.
And the director of Never Hike Alone got pissed. He's like, really, don't fuck with people today with shit like this. Like, just don't. Also,
oh, so it was the April Fool's joke.
Yes, and
lame.
Godzilla is one of the ones it's too wide known. Don't. So there was the weirdest that I've ever seen of April Fools that ended up not being an April Fools. The Guest 2. But it's a soundtrack. It's not the actual movie. So I guess they already had music lined up for a Guest Part 2.
Huh.
And they're releasing the soundtrack for it, but the movie doesn't exist.
All right. That's cool.
Also on
that does kind of sound like April Fool.
It was and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Also on the subject of Never Hike Alone, we did a review of it on here, or a discussion. Womp Stomp Films, who are putting out a feature-length sequel that's going to end it.
Nice.
They're at 96,000 right now out of the 150,000 to get it produced.
Oh, dude, they'll hit that easy.
They've got, I think, 10 more days. So it's going to be on the fence, but they have some great perks. If you have the money, they have film used masks, arrows, hatchets, and machetes on there that you can get as perks. Your name automatically is in the credits for it. And if I'm shilling for them, I'm a Friday the 13th fan. And they've put out the best Friday the 13th films that I have watched in the last 15 years. And this isn't hyperbole. It really is. So you can get the physical copy and also get the older versions. I believe it's $35 for the new Blu-ray when it comes out, and then $20 for each additional. It's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
I end up putting in for the Ghost Cut. I've funded every one of the last couple. And again, like Carlito had never watched them and actually was able to follow along. And
yeah, I still haven't seen any of the originals. Yeah.
Shudder actually added an amazing amount of movies this month.
Oh, really?
They're doing halfway to Halloween month.
Oh.
They put all the Evil Deads on.
You know, and I was just thinking about canceling because I've been paying and I haven't watched a movie on Shudder. And I think The Blackcoat's Daughter was the last one I watched.
They're also putting Near Dark with Bill Paxton.
Oh, nice.
It is one of the hardest films to find on Blu-ray and DVD right now. And it's Catherine Bigelow directed it.
Cool.
And Bill Paxton is unhinged as fucking it, and he's great.
You mean more than in Frailty?
Yes. Oh, no, they told him, go do whatever you want, and he did.
Nice.
Bill Paxton, underrated actor. And as you just mentioned, Frailty, you can pick up that movie for $5 to $10.
So good.
You will like Matthew McConaughey in it. Outside of True Detective, best performance, I would say.
I would not argue with that, actually.
Frailty is one of those movies that got slept on and just I don't even know if it was direct to DVD. I don't remember it ever coming out in the theaters.
No, it came out. I don't think it wasn't out very long, I don't think. But
by the way, this Black Barrel, deadly.
it's good, isn't it?
It is. It's very good. And also for anybody listening, watching, I am drinking Jameson Black Barrel. It is cheap as fuck. It's $29.
Oh, nice.
I actually like it better than Eagle Rare.
Wow.
It's
a little different, that's for sure.
It's smooth and it kicks. But it's a whiskey that tastes like bourbon.
Yep.
Which you warned me about.
I told you, man. It is deadly. I think I still got a half bottle left, but I want to savor it because it's near $40 here.
Yeah, it's climbing a little bit, but you were drinking something you never tried before.
Yeah. So I was at here we have liquor at our grocery stores, and I always go to the liquor section there and just check out what they got. And they had this Scotch on sale, and I'm like, you know what? I've been away from Scotch for a while. I did Irish. I've been heavy on the bourbon. I think I'm going to go back and try something. And I found this Jura 12 on sale.
Let me zoom in on you.
So
I've never heard of that before.
It mainly was overseas until I think a few years ago they started releasing it here. But it's a small island off the west coast of Scotland. Well, actually, hold on. So I want to get into my new segment for this Scotch, and it's it's going to be the 5 stunning facts of Scotch. And so number 1, it's a small little island off the west coast of Scotland. Jura is, and they're home to 112 people, or 212 people. Sorry. And third fact, George Orwell finished writing 1984 up at Barn Hill at the top of the island. And then I don't have the other 2 facts, so maybe next time I'll have 2 extra facts.
So if it's Scottish, is it one of the like Speyside Isley's ones, or is it?
I don't know if it's Speyside or all that. I think the West Coast is.
Most of those seem to have like a cinnamony bite to it.
This one is very smooth, and with ice, it actually kind of dulls the flavor out. So I'm glad I tried it in the Glencairn first, because it kind of. I should have just kept it neat. But actually, you know what? I'm going to Google that and find out.
I always do the Cold Stone, so I don't actually have ice in it that perspires.
So it's on the island, the west coast of Scotland. It doesn't really say if it's...
It's usually like the really bougie reviews on stuff with like, it tastes like a tire on fire and like
whiskey in Islay and Jura. So it's an Islay whiskey.
Okay.
So it's Islay, Highland, and Speyside. So it's an Islay.
Okay, it's usually a little fruity then.
Which I guess makes sense since it's an island of its own. But yeah, with neat, it was very floral on the nose, like very good smell. It's one of the best smelling scotches probably that I've smelled. And I couldn't smell any smoke hardly at all.
Oh.
But on the taste, there's just a touch of smoke on the end.
Aberlour, like the first taste, you're just like, woo!
So good.
Yeah, it small bottles, expensive, but they got a bite to them.
And even with ice, you can still smell it, but the ice dulls the taste pretty much out of it. So
Yeah, this is my guy right now. And I'm not a huge Jameson fan, but this one has been the exception.
Jameson's a solid, man. I mean, it's a lot of people like to dog on it, but it's a universally easy Irish to drink. So
Yeah, at least for the black label, because it's got a different taste to it, a different flow altogether than the regular whiskey.
yeah,
Where
the Black Barrel. That's my favorite. That's my favorite version of Jameson I've had so far. So
the bite that normal Jameson has isn't there. Where it's a complete sipping whiskey.
yeah. Oh yeah.
If you want to see me get completely trashed, come back next week where we're doing Mask of the Phantasm, where I'll be back on the Macallan 12, which the Macallan 12,
so good.
I don't even realize I'm drinking as much because I think I had 6 or 8 fingers during our last show with John, and I was completely fine for a couple of hours. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, then dude, that's such an easy. I've said it before. That was my gateway to Scotch. I was at some local southern restaurant bar. It's called Bubba's, and I was like, I don't know anything about Scotch, but you know what? Let's try a Scotch. And I was like, yeah, Macallan 12, and man, it's so good.
I was upset I wasn't involved on the St. Patrick's Day, even though I had to go to work.
Oh, dude, that was so much fun. I just want to thank Jimmy for that. That was great.
Yo, Rashid, how you doing,
Rashid?
Bro? Yeah, like I was just like, well, I got to go to work, and I remember the last time,
that sucks, dude.
I drank before going into work because my boss called me in during one of my live streams. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, hey, man, like, I'm drinking right now, and he's like, that's all right. You don't have to be on machinery. Can you climb a ladder? I was like, yeah. He like, good. Go ahead. It's all overtime. I was like, fuck. I picked up some movies.
Oh, sweet. A movie haul.
Sort of. Like, I've been picking up movies, and I haven't watched a ton of them, and that's my own
Dude,
fault.
the last, 10 movies I bought, I haven't watched yet. So, I put the director's cut of Dr. Sleep on the Blu-ray in my 4K player, and it's still sitting in there. I haven't turned it on yet.
So at some point with John, we're going to do Miller's Crossing, and I bought the Criterion version, which I've been on a Criterion haul lately. They've been putting out some really good ones lately.
I've been hearing that. A lot of people... I'm afraid to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to wait till after my trip in the next
I just pre-ordered Shaft.
Nice. The original or the remake with...
The original. They have that one coming out. I picked up Menace to Society by the Hughes brothers, nice. Which was one of the movies that I think is so devastating to watch.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think Poetic Justice is devastating.
Underrated. But yeah. Glengarry Glen Ross, which was part of the Shout Factory Select sale, I got it for $13. Nice. If you love character actors, everybody is in this fucking movie. Alec Baldwin has some of the best diatribes, especially the, what are you doing? I'm getting some coffee. Coffee's for closers. A very random one, Phantasm.
Yes! Dude, I got that special box set when it was released.
Oh, with the ball?
Oh my god, dude. And it sold out. I pre-ordered that because I didn't think they'd ever come out on Blu-ray. I could only find them on DVD, and they had the Blu-ray, and I'm like, oh yes, I'm pre-ordering that.
This one is part 1 and 2 on it. It just came out. I think it was Vinegar Syndrome. Put it out.
I gotta watch part 2. I watched part 1.
Part 2 is 100 times better.
I remember part 2 liking it better too.
I just want to take a minute. Poor Mike. You were one of the first people that started watching the Dune over, and nice. Thank you. Weirdly, that show is the most watched fucking show on this channel, which is
it's a good show, man. I even watch it, and I haven't read any of the fucking books.
So at first I thought it was because I had very attractive women on with me.
Nah, dude, it's just a good panel. You guys are just excellent, man.
But Dude, you were with us for the first time, and thank you so much. And like, I appreciate the hell out of you. And I hope you read the books and watched the movie because I really haven't seen you in the chats much since then.
I still
And
need to get the movie.
Criterion, I never got the Criterion channel.
Oh, what the hell?
That is one I never bothered getting. And I ordered the Citizen Kane Blu-ray.
I still haven't seen that.
So everybody knows the ending.
Yeah.
But you go back and you actually think about at the time how movies were. It's fucking brilliant. So John Carpenter and Halloween stole the whole opening from Touch of Evil from Orson Welles.
So good.
The whole opening
really?
of Touch of Evil you can get on YouTube, but it's all one shot crane. And it's fucking great. The remake was yes.
100%. I tried to find. I don't know if Gore Vidal's on Instagram. Probably not.
I don't see him, and I don't even know how he found the channel.
I was gonna say, but I tried to find him so we could message him, say like, "Hey man, it's open movie discussion. Get your ass to the chat." But I don't know if he saw it or not because I saw him on. He was on another channel the other night that I just happened to stop in for like 10 minutes.
If you want to watch a cheesy horror movie that is amazing, Demon Knight.
Nice.
My God, like Billy Zane is one of the greatest evil bad guys in this movie because he's so cheesy. He's awesome. Rashid, yeah, Touch of Evil. I honestly like more than Citizen Kane because it's so it's a Coen Brothers movie before the Coen Brothers existed. And I weirdly hate the Coen Brothers. The good stuff they put out is incredible, but some like Hudsucker Proxy people love, and I do not love that.
I'm kind of just met on the Coen Brothers. Like I don't know, they're all right.
Billy Zane had a good long time of being a bad guy.
You know what movie that I love that probably nobody here has seen, but Sniper with Tom Berenger.
I never watched it because of the director.
And yeah, I don't even remember who the director was, and then also Sniper 2, I think. But
John
Billy
Cena?
Zane is in both of those. And oh my God, like I hated him at first, but then looking back now, I'm like, actually, that's a pretty fun character. So,
can I be super honest?
He was Marcy. I remember that.
I love Zoolander, and Billy Zane part in Zoolander. I remember I saw Zoolander in the theater, and I thought it was the stupidest fucking movie. And then my friend and I kept quoting it. I was like, "Holy shit, do we love this movie?"
It's interesting Mike says that because I remember my dad used to say, because I was just obsessed with movies, but he used to be like, "Is there any movie you don't like?" Because I'd be buying like every VHS came out. But oddly enough, like as I started working at a movie theater and hanging out with like more of a what do you want to call it? Like cinefan crowd. I kind of became more picky and more destructive, like viewing wise on my movies, and I don't like as much as I used to. That's for sure. But
so you just mentioned a Skarsgård, and there was news that just dropped today that was not a April Fool's Day joke. Bill Skarsgård in the new Crow remake, which this is the 5th different person they've tried to make a remake with. Jason Momoa was the last before this.
Oh, that wasn't an April Fool's?
No, it's legit.
Oh, I legit I saw that. I'm like, yeah, funny. But
nice. Yes, Sniper.
So yeah, like Sniper, the first one, I loved it, and I'm just gonna be honest and frank. Like when I saw it, I was in a time in my life where I was gonna go into the Marines and be a sniper, and I was like the recruiter, and the gunny sergeant at MEPS and all this stuff wanted me to try out for sniper school and whatnot, and my buddy was going in, and so yeah, we were kind of obsessed with it a little bit. But like, just in general, it's Tom Berenger is phenomenal in that movie. Like, I think he is. That's a movie that he's kind of underrated, underappreciated on. So
I am still a huge physical media fan just because I've
yeah,
heard of people who bought digital movies from Apple where they lost the rights to them, losing their whole collection.
yeah. I
So I
lost
will.
half of my music collection back in, I can't remember when it was, but I spent literally thousands of dollars on music, and I lost like half of it. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck Apple. I'm out of here. So it's been Sony Music ever since for me. But
Yeah, I do Spotify, and that's about it now. Just because I just pay a subscription, and what's there is there.
then I also bought CDs too. So
Oh, I still have. So another movie that held up well, Willow.
I haven't seen it. Or wait, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I have seen it.
Yeah, I bought the Blu-ray. It was on sale, and I watched it. I still enjoyed it immensely. Like Val Kilmer, he had that one like point in time where he could not miss.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Napster.
yeah,
That's no joke, man. I remember that shit.
and then Carlito and I have had ongoing discussions about Dr. Sleep.
Dude, okay, so after this, I'm pretty sure, because, yeah, I took a nap unexpectedly after work.
I did too.
So I will probably be up most of the night, and I think I'm just going to watch that. So I was going to watch it before, but I didn't realize it was 2.5 hours. So I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen. So
I definitely have become more choosy, Rashid. Like, and it's not by choice. I think I have so little time now because I work overnights that I'm like, if I'm gonna put this time into this, like, I need to not have it be shit. Although, like, I'm gonna say that Nicolas Cage movie that's coming out, Renfield, where he's Dracula, 100% gonna fucking watch.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I've been talking to actual Dracula about that for like a year. So
yeah, Dr. Sleep is a sequel to The Shining. I would recommend reading the book over the movie. The director's cut of the movie is an improvement because it's closer to the book, and I was a huge fan of the book. But you can watch the theatrical version and still be okay.
I like the theatrical version a lot. You think I'll like the director's cut better or no? I've never read the book, so
it fleshes out some stuff a little bit more.
Okay. So I probably will.
Especially when it comes to his trauma from the hotel.
Well, I didn't think nobody appreciated my joke. I have to watch the Snyder cut of Dr. Sleep.
They just ignored it.
They just ignored it, especially Bearded for sure. So
Super holds up. Are you talking about Super by James Gunn? Because that is the darkest fucking grim movie I've ever watched. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I was surprised how much I like that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. This is way better. Like, just neat. You don't need ice with this shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are some of my pickups that I've done. I've picked up some more. I keep finding these sales. Like, I'm on the fence. Arrow Video put out a 4K version of RoboCop in Steelbook.
Ooh.
And I keep looking at it. It's like $40. There's also a new version of Drive by Nicholas Winding Refn coming out by Arrow.
4K?
Yes.
Whoa, I've only got that on Blu-ray. I want to get it on 4K.
It's got an extensive, it's got extras, and then it has a whole making of Drive with Nicholas Winding Refn talking about it, documentary about making it. I want to say Diabolic DVD had it for $35.
I was actually going to watch Drive the other night because I had YouTube on, and then I took another unexpected nap, and I woke up and one of the songs from the soundtrack was playing, and I was like, oh, God, I need to watch that again.
Nick Cage, like, I kind of respect because, like, I know he's cashing a check at times.
Dude, did you see the article recently, though? where he was talking about his direct to DVD stuff he did. He's like, I never phoned it in.
You know,
I believe him. I honestly believe him, even though I haven't seen like 90% of those movies. I believe him.
So
because he was probably 100% Nick Cage.
Oh yeah, like he's all in, but he method acts.
Yeah.
Is 4K that much of a difference?
For
I'd
sound,
say
yes.
It depends on your TV also.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
So like I watched Alita Battle Angel on my
that one looks
OLED and
beautiful.
It looked insane on it.
God.
And again, it depends on the director. Of course, James Cameron, if he's involved, whatever you get's gonna have the highest fidelity. Oh, 100% Willow. Yes, it holds up. I'm gonna be weird saying this. This might be George Lucas's most complete movie.
George Lucas did that? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was him and Ron Howard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I always thought it was just Ron Howard, but
George Lucas was involved, ILM and all that shit, and it was his actual. He wrote it.
Okay.
And I will say that if Tombstone ever comes out in 4K, I will buy it immediately. Absolutely.
Yeah. So bringing it back to The Godfather, just real quick, because I don't want to forget. I loved Andy Garcia as soon as I saw him in The Untouchables as Stone or Giuseppe Patry. Just freaking brilliant in that role. Just brilliant.
Drive is... I hated Ryan Gosling until I watched that movie because I never realized...
with you, dude. I was the same. I was like...
I never realized he could give that kind of performance where the... and it's weird because within 3 years we got that and Baby Driver, which are completely two different movies.
Yeah. Everybody fucking loves Baby Driver, and I was just like, it was good.
So you know why people love Baby Driver?
Because of the soundtrack?
Yes, because those needle drops.
That's true. They are pretty damn good.
And John Hamm was fucking scary as fuck in that movie with him and John Bernthal.
As a film overall, though, it was just like, I was just like,
It was entertaining. It was entertaining as fuck. But like,
yeah. I mean, it was fun. But
Drive had an emotional depth to it.
Yes.
And I thought Carey Mulligan was really good. And Nicholas Winding Refn is one of those directors that he's so weird.
Yep.
Neon Demon was another one, which...
Oh, I fucking love that. Schnepp recommended that, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this shit. And I watched it, and I was like, oh, man, this is fucking awesome. It was weird, though. I love the Keanu cameo in Neon Demon. It's so awesome. It's the hotel guy, the guy that was running the hotel.
All right, Rashid, you got to specify. Are we talking classic or modern Westerns?
Ooh, yeah. Poor Mike, I want to know what your favorite Western is.
So
really, Quick and the Dead. I don't know if I've seen that.
That was the Sharon Stone one, if I recall.
I've not seen it. That's what I was thinking, and I'm like, I don't think I saw it.
It was good. The Unforgiven is one everybody goes to
for moderns.
Yeah, I have this spot in my heart for Young Guns, Part 2 in particular.
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
They were entertaining, but Tombstone, like performance-wise, like Michael Biehn, everybody in that movie, their lines, and Val Kilmer should have won I don't care what anybody says, he should have won an Oscar for that role.
Poor Mike. Spaghetti Westerns take the title of all time, I would say. But yes. If we're talking moderns, I'm probably going to lean towards Unforgiven or Tombstone, probably.
The Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns,
so good,
were great, and I don't know if a lot of people know that he did westerns or don't research enough because I mean, Magnum Force and Ennio
Morricone is just a goddamn genius. He did the Untouchables.
Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh man, I have so many soundtracks of him. I would say, even though he's not my all-time favorite, like he was one of my original like composers I fell in love with movies. So John
Carpenter's The Thing. He managed to make one of the most tension-filled soundtracks that sounds like John Carpenter that isn't John Carpenter.
Nice. I still haven't watched that, by the way.
Which, for anybody that is questioning like Westerns, I will say, if you think about Big Trouble in Little China was supposed to be a Western with Eastern philosophy before it became what it became. And we did our review with Manny, Chamorro Cinema, and it's one of my favorite feel-good movies.
Dude,
like
it was so fun, man.
If I'm sick, that is the movie I feel better watching.
Nice.
And I say Batman the Animated Series is another one that I will watch when I'm sick.
So good. I was just thinking about watching that last night. I
bought the Blu-ray set when it was on sale for $50
on Amazon.
Yes.
Did you get the Funko Pop with it too, or no?
No, I did not.
So I got that, I'm thinking of Batman Beyond. Never mind.
Evolution with David Duchovny is another one when I'm sick I will watch because Orlando Jones is hysterical in it. And Major League, the first one.
Major League.
So damn good. Neon Demon.
So good, man.
That is one you stop and think about afterwards.
The soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. So I have not watched a Refn movie that I haven't liked or the soundtrack that I haven't loved either. So I have both Drive and Neon Demon. I think those are the only two I've seen. I'm sure he's got more movies, doesn't he?
He doesn't really have a big catalog.
Really?
So a weird discussion that's been going on lately, Annihilation.
Yes.
Good movie or boring movie?
I walked out the first time I saw it thinking, well, that was kind of a waste of time. What the fuck did I just watch? Then I watched it again and I'm like, okay, I can see what they're doing here. I kind of appreciate it.
So like Alex Garland, for anybody
he did Ex Machina, which I fucking love.
But for people who don't know, he secretly directed Dredd.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But people didn't know because basically they wanted to use this other director's name who kind of started it and Alex Garland took over.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but Dredd is possibly one of the best comic movies.
It is, dude, and it's underrated. I still gotta watch Marcy. It's fucking phenomenal.
Which will not get a sequel.
I remember running home. I've said this numerous times, especially on John's show, but like running home from school because school got out at 3:30, and I think it started
Batman Superman hour, and then you had Turtles at one point on during that.
So I had
DuckTales.
to run fucking home because I was at least a half hour away to catch it at 4, I think is when it came on. So
also weirdly, DuckTales, the one show Disney never turned into a movie. Yes, I have a Lopan tattoo on my leg.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You said it, but I've never seen it.
I posted a picture of my new Doc Martens, and I.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Dredd the remake. Carl Urban was made to be that, and I hate.
Fuck yeah.
Stallone's movie. They turned it jokey, and I love Stallone.
I think it was good when it came out, but yeah, it doesn't really hold water much anymore for me.
And weirdly, Stallone's a guy who gets shit on. He did a lot of movies for the money. I'm not going to lie, because I believe it was Over the Top. They came to him not once, not twice, but 3 times after he declined. And finally, the money got to be so much that he was like, well, I guess I got to do it, man. Like, weirdly, my favorite movie of his during the later days, Tango and Cash with him and Kurt Russell.
Dude, it's not bad, man. I enjoy
it's not bad. But it's total 90s cocaine.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Steve winning A-OK to be Judge Dredd. Yeah, like Judge Dredd is interesting to watch and even the comic book, if you go back and find those old black and whites, they're great to read. It is kind of a one-note character. There's not a whole lot of depth. But in the remake, oh my God, Olivia Thirlby as Judge Anderson, I was in love with, like,
Dude, and what's
immediately.
her fucking Cersei is
Lena Headey.
Yeah, Lena Headey. Awesome.
Also, like, I loved her, like, the end of the original Purge, where she cracks that neighbor's head on the table.
God, it's been so long since I've seen it. I don't remember that.
With the neighbor's bitching, she takes her head and slams her nose into the table. And I was like, that's my bitch.
I gotta rewatch that. Actually, I was also thinking, kind of off topic, but like the other night, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and rewatch Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 6 because it's been a long time.
So, man, like season 4, probably with Pedro Pascal as the Red Viper, is
Season
still my
4
favorite season.
and even part of 5 were like peak. Just peak Game of Thrones, man.
And that's when they started going off the books in 6, and that's where it started really going off the rails.
Yeah.
So Sanimation had on Instagram asked me to make a video of my Blu-ray collection.
Oh, no kidding.
And I think I'm gonna do it. And it's weird because I have so many repeats of movies.
Yeah.
Where I bought box sets and other stuff.
You need to stop doing that, Dan.
It's Halloween. Like, they put a Bill Sienkiewicz, they put a Todd McFarlane cover out on the steel books. Like, I remember I have to buy them.
Didn't we talk about this on Halloween?
Yeah, we probably did. Last Kingdom, I've heard that's great. I've never watched it.
The show? What? I know the movie. I don't know.
I believe it. There's a. I thought it was a show. It's. I know Netflix has it all. So, like, my Blu-ray collection, like Friday the 13th, I buy the steel books. For Halloween, I buy all the steel books. My favorite steel book of all, Jaws.
Nice.
It was a Best Buy exclusive, and the documentary, "The Shark is Working," is great to watch because that fucking shark was a pain in the ass. And they actually hired a guy in Australia who swam with sharks to actually film shark footage. There was a lot of, and it's Spielberg, so of course you're going to get a lot of shit you didn't know you wanted.
Well, yeah.
I do have a question about a Spielberg movie that I'm curious about your take on. Ready Player One.
Wait, he directed that?
Did he? He did.
So I enjoyed it. Lots of nostalgia stuff for me. Yeah, I mean that's about all I can say about it.
I didn't love the book, and I didn't love the movie.
Hey, Gore's here. Just want to take the time to shout that out real quick in the chat.
I didn't like Dread. Oh,
wow. Didn't like either of them.
So he brings up Brazil. Brazil is a fucking great movie.
Haven't seen it. I love fucking Blade Runner though.
Blade Runner, and
well, 2049.
We've talked about Blade Runner 2049. It depends what. I've watched every cut of Blade Runner.
Final Cut's the only one to watch.
I did not buy the Steelbook of Total Recall. I weirdly I kind of sort of almost like the
Total I mean
Recall
Gore's
remake.
Not wrong there. That's a pretty true statement. But I mean, as far as what you can do and get away with in Hollywood these days in like film, I think that remake was fucking pretty badass.
Well, Gore will talk about on this. The Valerian movie with those two horrible actors and actresses, like
the former model and
Cara Delevingne,
which I gotta say, I mean, she's attractive, but
with Bobo, Leonardo DiCaprio from Chronicle, The Fifth Element is the most Mobius movie ever, and I know Gore is a huge Mobius fan, and they've never done right by it. And Okay.
Nice.
You don't need to send it to me, bro. Like I will
Send
buy
it.
it. But that's very nice of you, poor Mike. I appreciate that. Total Recall's just it's cheese 90s.
Yeah. Did you watch the remake?
I did.
And
So I will say, like, it's not great, but Colin Farrell's one of those guys where I don't think he's ever mailing it in.
that's fair. I just can't bring myself to watch it.
And I will say, in the new Batman movie, if you hadn't told me that was Colin Farrell, I never would have
nobody would be
known.
able to tell that that's him if they weren't told it was him. I mean, come on.
And
yeah, the original Total Recall is just classic 90s cheese, man. Just classic.
I keep going back and forth on that new Batman movie, and when it goes April 14th on HBO Max,
Oh wow, already?
I'm gonna watch it with like clearer eyes. I liked it a lot. I still think there are problems, and I still think Dark Knight has some problems that, as I've rewatched it, bother me.
Are you talking about Nolan's Dark Knight?
Yes.
All right. Well, I gotta go.
No, it's just that third act with Harvey I hate.
Oh, geez. Everybody, like a lot of people rag on that. I'm still okay. So
Colin Farrell.
I'll hear you out. Like I want to hear you out on that. Like I want to know.
You save that for the third. You save that for the third movie. You're already making a movie longer.
I don't think he was coming back for a third movie, though, was he?
I think he was already under contract for it.
Oh, okay.
But that was my only.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. That's fair.
It just you could have left it with him escaping from the hospital and killing that cop. He's on the loose. He's wild. That's your third movie.
But once he goes after Gordon's family, I mean, that's kind of a game changer for Batman. I mean,
yes, but again, it just convoluted it a little bit, and you already have enough chaos going on where I understand they maybe had to add it because of what happened with Ledger. That maybe been added on. But
so my understanding was at the time that he had passed, like production and filming was done. It was in post-production anyway. So I don't know if I'm wrong on that, but that's how I've always understood it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Terry Moore, Serial might be his best book he's put out. I love a great serial killer book, and Serial was awesome. Nice. And I would love to see that as a movie. 100%. Valerian was a beautifully shot movie, and it's the guy who did The Fifth Element who directed it, so I expect nothing less.
It was the same guy?
Yes. It's also the guy who got the shit suit out of him by John Carpenter during Lockdown or Lockout or whatever it was with Guy Pearce for ripping off Escape from New York. Which John Carpenter basically said, well, Metal Gear Solid's basically Escape from New York, but I like Kojima.
Which I think they're making a movie of Metal Gear Solid, aren't they? Isn't Oscar Isaac supposed to be Snake?
They've been talking about it for years.
Dude, I'm so stoked for that. But I haven't watched Moon Knight yet, so I'm not.
So the Batman is Rashid. Watching at home for the Batman might be your best thing, but
I was just gonna say you don't need to run out. I mean, this is totally my opinion. I'm sure Bearded and John would have differing opinions.
Oh no, Fire Guy Ryan would be.
And Fire Guy Ryan, you don't need to run out to the theater to see this movie. It's not. As someone who fancies himself as a audiophile and like a theater experience person, you don't have to watch this in the theater. This is a more low-key noir type feel to it. Like you could totally watch this at home for the first time and love it.
I will tell you, the opening scene might be the best part of the movie.
Dude, the best part of the movie, and I think I said this last time, but I'm going to say it again, was when he started up his car. I'm not gonna
Okay,
lie. That was pretty,
audio wise,
audio and IMAX and like holy shit, like the whole theater was just like yeah.
But creep factor, the opening where he's behind the guy the entire time.
Yeah.
You would think it's Zodiac, and I still say he ripped off Fincher.
I'm
100%.
not gonna lie, dude. I mean, I kind of feel, but he's been honest about like, kind of pulling from that, hasn't he?
A little bit. Poor Mike. This is
Poor Mike.
Carlito's.
Yes. Thank you, poor Mike. You're the best, man. The best, dude. That's my all-time favorite movie. I can't lie. Not gonna lie.
Sean Gordon Murphy is one of my favorite artist storytellers. I loved his book with Remender, Tokyo. Oh my God!
Sean Gordon Murphy's Batman book. What?
Oh yeah, White Knight.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I had a brain fart for a second. Yeah, White Knight. Oh hell yeah! I bought the individual issues when that came out.
Yes, I very much enjoy his run. I've become a fan of it. Nobody draws desolate trash like Sean Gordon Murphy.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you, Gore. We have a whole chat dedicated to how horrible the 90s Batman's movies were. I mean,
so I was pissed off at you guys last night where it got to bitching about pastrami.
Dude, I was like, how do you not know what pastrami is?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Tokyo Ghost, which I feel would be an amazing movie, and weirdly, the person I would love to direct that more than anybody else would be Robert Rodriguez or Alec Garland.
Tokyo Ghost. Is that a book?
Yes, it's a cyberpunk book by Sean Gordon Murphy and Rick Remender.
I gotta check that out. Dude, Gore's dropping so much stuff. I gotta start writing some of this down. I had a list before, but I lost it.
By the way, Gore, are you on Instagram?
I don't think there's a couple accounts, but I think they're just rip-off fakes. But
because you're somebody like we would love to have on this show to talk cinema.
Yeah, I mean, no faces, dude. Audio, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So the 90s Batman films is we were starving for a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And I will go back to this forever. The Marvel Universe doesn't exist without Blade.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Because the X-Men movies basically were like, Blade did well. Shit. Like, let's...
Well, yeah, and I mean, even a little bit of Batman Begins kind of is, they deserve to give Blade credit for kind of opening the door, to be a serious comic book movie. So
yeah, and Guillermo del Toro, I think his really big entrance was Blade 2, where everybody's like, let's give him his own movie.
Yep.
And I mean, he had a ton of Spanish-speaking movies, which his movies are always shot so beautifully.
Oh yeah, dude. Like no matter, I can't say anything bad about how his movies are done ever. But I mean, I can not like some of them, but it's not because they're not done well. Even the one that I severely do not like that won an Oscar,
Shape of Water.
I
had the same opinion.
The one where the girl fucks the fish. Anyway, so
same thing.
So yeah, still though, I mean, beautifully shot, music well done, atmosphere, everything else. Like even the acting is cast, just fucking beautiful. I didn't like the movie, but that's just my taste. It has nothing to do with his vision and creativity and how he did the film. It's just my taste.
Which I think that's where I'm at with. I can appreciate a well-shot movie, but I can still have gripes about the movie itself.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are some people who can shoot a fucking amazing movie and bore the shit out of you.
Yeah. Dude, Gore, I will say Blade, when the first time I saw that, I still remember, it blew my fucking mind.
The blood rave.
Yeah, the beginning, I was just like, holy shit. And then find out later that chick was
porn
star, what's her face? I was like, holy shit.
Well, Pacific Rim was the best Evangelion movie, not called Evangelion. Pan's Labyrinth.
I like the first Pacific Rim. That was good.
Oh no, it's great. But Pan's Labyrinth.
I need to watch that. I still
beautifully shot. Hellboy 2, great.
Have not seen any of the Hellboys. I'm just not a Hellboy guy, but you know what? I might watch them.
I haven't seen Antlers yet. I've heard that is
Yeah,
actually
dude, I can. Funny enough, I can rewatch. Yeah, Tracy Lords. I can rewatch Blade. Like that 4K release was fucking great. I'm so glad I bought the Steelbook on that too. That was so cool. The Best Buy exclusive, but
he did put out one movie I did not like. The Crimson Peak.
Haven't seen it.
Didn't love it. It was good.
Like mixed on that. I know some people really liked it, and then some people were like, no.
He produced Mama, which it was well acted. Didn't love it. The Orphanage, I think, is one of his best movies.
I don't think I've seen that either.
It's all in Spanish, so it's all subtitled, but it's during a civil war in Spain. And
okay. Dude, like I said, I think we talked about this maybe on our last show, or maybe I don't know. It might have been the night we talked Batman. No, I doubt it. But I used to have a thing about like not reading subtitles when I would go to movies. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But as of course I got older and more mature, I found movies and TV shows even that were just so good that I'm like, yeah, I'd rather read the subtitles than hear the English dubbed. I think it was me and you that talked about that, the English dubbed version. Oh my god,
probably,
some of those
so anime bad. In particular, it can be iffy.
And it's not the voice actor's fault. It's just the way it's just not natural, dude. It's just not.
So
natural.
I think there's TV series where I think the world building they really fuck up. Like I thought The Strain, which Guillermo del Toro was involved with at FX, was kind of fucked up.
Was that with the chick that was Dexter's sister?
No, it was a different show.
Oh, it was a show. Okay, I thought.
Yeah, it was on FX. The Wire may have the best world building, and I would say The Sopranos also have great world building.
Sopranos.
There's nothing I love more. I think it was the last season where Silvio gets crazy about cheese.
Oh yeah, the card game.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, cheers, you magnificent SOB.
On Golden Pond, fucking acting tour de force in that. Henry Fonda before he passed.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid watching that because HBO showed like 5 fucking movies all the time, and my grandmother had HBO, so.
Dude, some of the Canadian sci-fi shows were great. Holy shit.
British sci-fi shows. I love Torchwood. I hate Doctor Who, but I love Torchwood. And maybe it's because of
it's still on my list.
I keep calling him
the guy from Arrow.
Yeah, John Barrowman.
Yeah, Barrowman. Yeah, he's an excellent actor.
British John Hamm.
Which actually, so I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but yeah, I finally bought no, I didn't, but I was going to, and then I interrupted myself. I finally bought a Blu-ray player for my bedroom, so I'm probably going to start watching some stuff before I go to bed. 'Cause I don't have time to sit in my living room and actually sit down and watch stuff much anymore. So
I found myself watching my digital copies of stuff.
I don't hate Doctor. I actually like the first. So the first was it? I think I watched the first 3 seasons, maybe.
So my childhood was with I can't remember the actor, the one that had the kind of curly hair. I can't remember.
The guy that was a villain in Gone in 60 Seconds.
No. What
was his name?
Tom Baker was when I when I was a kid, Tom Baker was the big one. And I tried watching the Matt Reeves ones, and Christopher Eccleston was okay, but the Matt Smith. The Matt Smith ones, I thought everybody was saying was an A+, and I watched it, and I thought it was just acceptable.
So who was the chick that was in them?
That was the one, Jodie Whittaker.
No, what was her like show name?
It was Doctor Who still.
No, like Her character name.
Doctor Who.
What? No, the chick, like his sidekick, kind of.
Oh, the one that Karen Gillan was in the Matt Smith ones.
No, before that. I think it's the one before that.
The blonde.
Yeah, the blonde. I liked her. I liked her a lot. And then after, I think she changed or left or something. I don't know.
They always change it.
I stopped watching it. I just couldn't get Rose. Yes, Rose, dude. So the one that was Rose with the original guy that I saw, I think it was before Matt Smith. Yeah, he was awesome.
Thank you for you're in my age range. Also, I love Marcy for like randomly she'll be reading Dune and start messaging me in the middle of the night, be like, "Hey, what is this?"
So is that furniture thing really true? The dog chair or whatever the hell?
Yes, dog chairs exist.
Because I was talking to someone else about that, and he's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." So maybe what set of books is that? Is it different than
book 5?
Okay, so I don't think he's read that book then.
Yeah, book 5 starts the chair dogs and
chair dogs. That's what
Jen and Sid want nothing more than those to exist, and I'm like, I don't need to see this on film. But I love. Speaking of Dune, I love the casting for the next movie already.
Oh, fuck, dude, I just love everything about Dune right now.
Florence Pugh is going to play Irulan.
Fuck yeah! Remember I messaged you that. I was so excited. I don't even know who the character is, but I'm like, fuck yeah.
She is my Dune crush. Nice. Which they all goof on me about. She's the Emperor's daughter who's in love with Paul, but he hates her.
Yes, Gord. Same here, man.
Everybody hates the Capaldi run.
Yeah.
And I think because it's just a little cheeky. Yeah. Also, like the character Fade, who was played by Sting in the original Dune, is played by Austin Butler, who is just a cocky-looking dude. And I'm like, yes, please. Like, I want this dude to die. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, so I couldn't, after that last episode, I didn't even start the next season after that when they changed. I just kind of stopped because my friend at work back in the day, she was like, "Oh, you got to watch Doctor Who. You'd love it." And I did love those seasons, but I so just kind of stopped.
My British show of choice was Luther.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that a couple times.
Oh my god.
That was what's his face? Idris Elba. Yeah.
Idris Elba is fucking amazing.
Badass, man.
And honestly, like I was on the train of him being Bond.
Yeah, I think he's a little too.
He's
old
a little
now.
old too now.
Yeah.
But when The Wire came out, he was the perfect.
Oh, he would have been great then. And like, was it that movie with Denzel that he was briefly in for like 5 seconds?
So now you're on Denzel, and I know we're being fucking really random.
Dude, it's an open discussion. Fuck it.
So
I noticed you got the totem in the background. Are we going to discuss that?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So so Denzel Washington, I would say, is probably one of our top 5 actors of this time. Agree or disagree?
I agree. So, I can agree with that.
Carlito and I were discussing one night, one of our favorite movies by him randomly is Fallen, which is a movie that got no appreciation. It's a horror thriller.
I ask people if they've seen it. They don't even know what it is. Like 7 out of 10 people don't even know what the hell that movie is. Only like real like movie fans or
Orphan Black.
So,
great series.
Yeah, I still need to watch that too.
Tatiana Maslany, now she's playing She-Hulk.
I know Perry was just raving about Orphan Black when it first came out. But...
Oh, Book of Eli.
That's an underrated film for sure.
So I
didn't even know. Okay, I didn't even know what that was. I'm going to interrupt because I can't contain myself. I didn't even know what that was, or didn't even know it existed until my friend at work was like, "You never seen Book of Eli?" I'm like, "No, I didn't even know it existed." And he's like, "Okay." So he let me borrow it on DVD, which I never watch anymore. But I was like, "Screw it! I've never seen it. I'll watch it. I can't find it." At the time, I don't think it was on streaming yet. And yes, great song by the way too. But
Yes.
so I watched Book of Eli. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I need to own it. I don't know if there's a Blu-ray or 4K out yet.
Blu-ray, yes.
Blu-ray, okay. I'll have to find it on Blu-ray. But I've been, yeah, dude, that was so good, man. So underrated, and yeah, Rashid Knox, Tenet. That's definitely up there in one of my favorites for sure.
So training day,
Denzel's son, baby.
Training Day, probably I'd say one of his best over-the-top performances.
Dude, Crimson Tide with
Crimson
him
Tide
and
was
Gene
good.
Hackman. Holy shit!
Of course. What was the Civil War movie?
And I gotta say, James Gandolfini fans, he's in Crimson Tide. That small role as the I can't remember what rank he was or what part he was in that, but he was in there. So
what was the Civil War movie he was in?
Oh, Glory.
Glory,
fucking
yes.
Phenomenal. Didn't he win a
I think that's what really
Academy
started
Award
his career
for
off.
Supporting actor or something for that? My God,
I believe so. Yeah, it was a tour de force with him.
When I first, so spoiler alert, he gets whipped in that, and holy fucking shit! When I was watching that as a kid, I was just like, I was fucking traumatized by
Philadelphia was, I mean, again, one of those actors I really don't think they talk enough about his body of work.
No.
I mean, he's had some turkeys. Everybody's had a little bit.
I was just talking. So speaking of underrated and like underappreciated, randomly the other night, I was listening to my Sony music library where all my CDs are put in as FLAC files because I like lossless audio. But anyway, long story short, randomly the Pelican Brief soundtrack came on, and I'm like, holy shit, that's an underrated Denzel 90s movie that I haven't seen in probably a decade. I need to rewatch that shit.
Ricochet was another one with him where
Ice-T and John. Ice-T.
Ricochet was a movie that I really
Man on
liked.
Fire. Holy
great soundtrack.
Shit.
Great soundtrack.
Soundtrack. That is Tony Scott's best movie, in my opinion. Opinion.
It was
holy shit.
Shit.
Equalizer 1 was great. 2 was I mean, it was fun. It was enjoyable, but yeah, I remember Gore talking about the 80s Equalizer show was much better.
And that was the one with
Virtuosity. That's something a lot of people haven't seen.
Russell Crowe.
That's a rare run. The Hunger. I have not seen that, Gore, but I will check it out now. Since you said it, you think it's his best film.
Yes, The Hunger. David Bowie and
it's Bowie. Wow.
Yes. Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon.
Dude, the Pelican Brief though, the soundtrack, James Horner. So, rest in peace, James Horner. A lot of people, or not a lot, I guess some people kind of gave him shit over the years because they thought he stole from like John Williams and some other great composers. Which, looking back in hindsight, I can kind of see that a little bit. But,
the Ice-T Denzel movie was Ricochet.
Ricochet. Okay, I have not seen that one.
Also, New Jack City.
New Jack City, yes.
Great. Again.
But anyway, Pelican Brief soundtrack, phenomenal. That the chase, I think it's called, in the parking garage. Holy shit. Just so freaking good, man.
Speaking of other Arrow releases, they just put out a 4K version of American Werewolf in London.
Nice.
Which no transformation scene has ever matched since.
Yeah, that transformation scene is unmatched.
No, and I mean,
people said The Howling was great transformation, but I watched that, and I had already seen American Werewolf in London,
Rick
and I'm
Baker
like,
on that.
no.
So funny story: the guy who did The Howling was actually the apprentice of Rick Baker,
Nice.
who also then went on to do The Thing, which, in my opinion, has the greatest practical effects of any movie.
Dude, John Carpenter is renowned for his practical effects.
And he's also one of the most cantankerous people you will ever talk to. And I'm scared to death of ever meeting him.
Rightfully so, which is awesome.
Jenny Agutter,
I love awkward people. I wish I could meet them more often.
Jenny Agutter, I'm still in love with from the Romeo and Juliet movie where they showed it in my high school class, and she
the
got
original
naked.
one, like the
Yes.
60s or 70s or something.
Yep,
That's who that is.
that's who it is.
Oh fuck, I'm still in love with her.
Yeah, like they showed it in my class. I was like, I'm seeing titties in class. Awesome.
She is amazing. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Cheers.
And also, I will say to this day, the original Wonder Woman is fucking beautiful. Even at her age now, like she is aged like fine wine.
Absolutely.
No, the Howling was with
what? I don't even remember.
D. Wallace Stone.
Okay.
There was no big actors in that movie at all. The Jack Nicholson one was called Wolf.
Yeah. That one wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Yes, the Howling is a good movie. It had one of the longest,
especially for the 80s
scenes.
Like, yeah. For the 80s, I mean, you know. And I guess my mom, like, she never really liked horror movies or anything, but she always had like an affinity for The Howling. I think it's because my dad took her on a date to go see it or something. I don't know. She won't say, but like, yeah. Taylor, nobody cares.
So, I've always talked about how my mom would probably be considered a bad parent.
Dude, your mom is an awesome parent. I just gotta say.
During dinner, we would watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was the only Betamax movie we owned.
Beta.
So she would turn it on and we'd watch it and make fun of Franklin from it. We're terrible people. And we would watch. So my favorite movie, my mom has since passed, but anytime Salem's Lot is on, I will watch it, and Halloween with John Carpenter's Halloween, because so my mom fucked with me endlessly. So there's a scene in Salem's Lot where the kid, Danny Glick, is outside the window scratching. My mom, after watching it, went out to my window and started scratching on it, going, Danny, open up. Scared the shit out of me. And we bonded over this movie, and forever I will have that memory of her with that. And then Halloween, we watched every year together. Awesome. And I will always have that. She was a huge horror fan, so like people will shit talk the Hellraiser movies to no end. She loved Pinhead, so if a movie comes out with Pinhead in it, I'll watch it. And I think that's one of my best memories, movies with my mom, because she was a huge horror fan, and that is my memory I will always have of her. She nurtured my horror fascination. She would buy me Fangoria to read, and also my comic books. She would drive me to shop.
I remember you saying that.
Looking for dumb fucking books, which, again, like, it's stupid thinking about that she even did that with me. But I wouldn't be the person I am without her. And missed you, Mom. So I will always have those memories of these movies with her. And like seeking out stupid fucking, like, we watched Evil Dead together. I shouldn't have even been watching it. I was 9.
Dude, I still haven't seen those movies yet.
I had a girlfriend who said my mother was fucking horrible, and I was like, I don't see that.
Nah.
Marcy, you wouldn't think that because you're kind of twisted like me. I know her in real life, so she knows what I'm like.
My mom introduced me to, unfortunately, the more kind of romanticized side of movies
We've made
in
it.
Hollywood. But
the porn bots are here.
Oh, Jesus. So,
Block user.
yeah. I did it. That's good.
Okay.
Uh,
Army of Darkness.
Oh, hey, Naked Girls.
Army of Darkness is a great movie that is stupid, and I love it.
I still haven't seen that either, dude. There's so many movies I got. Oh, man. Anyway, my mom introduced me to like Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve, and
fucking great movie.
It is a fucking phenomenal movie, and I gotta say, like, yeah, I fell in love with Jane Seymour in that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I gotta ask, first movie you ever saw in the theater?
Oh God, I was.
Poor Mike.
Thank you for trying to think about that the other day because someone else was talking to me, and
poor Mike. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you actually following and joining in.
Yeah, man, good to see you, poor Mike. I know you've been away for a while, so
yeah. And any recommendations you want, or just hit us up on chat. Like, well, but thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate it.
Darkman, weren't you a little old for that to be your first movie, Taylor? Anyway, so
early Liam Neeson.
So by myself or just in general?
In general.
Oh, God, I think it was the Star Trek with the whales. Was it 3 or 4? I want to say the Voyage Home, which was 4, I believe.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Wrath of Khan was 3.
I think that was my first movie in the theater.
Wrath of Khan 2.
I mean, I saw Wrath of Khan, but not till after. I was too young when it came out, I think, to see it.
Tony, my brother, I miss seeing you every week.
Oh my God.
That's the one thing I miss about doing Tag Team Thursdays. I don't get to see the train wreck.
Can you DM Tony the link to come on if he wants?
Tony, do you want to come on? Let me know.
I mean, we got how long? You got some time, right? You got to work tonight or no?
No, I'm off.
Fuck yeah, you got some time then. Yeah, let's do it. Come on, man, let's do it. Yeah, so I think it was Star Trek, The Voyage Home, I believe, with the whales, which
4.
by the way was
4.
in what?
Part 4.
4. Okay. The Search for Spock was
Search for Spock's 3.
Actually. So it was Search for Spock that was 3. That was I think I was too young to kind of remember most of it, but I think that might have been the first one I went with my dad to the theater to see. So, but the Voyage Home with the whales is the one I remember the most.
My timing might be wrong, but I'm either between Superman 2, Empire Strikes Back, or E.T. Those are my 3 earliest memories of movies I saw.
How old are you?
I'm 46.
Wait, what? Oh, shit. I thought you were about the same age as me, like maybe 1 year older. Okay.
No, I'm 46. I look younger than I am.
Dude, you look like 10 years younger than me. But anyway, so yeah, like, yeah. So I think it was Search for Spock 3, which the theater experience I can't really recall too well. But the the Voyage Home number 4, I definitely remember that for sure. Like, that was just an experience for me. My dad was a Trekkie, and he's not really a movie guy, which sucks. I'm not going to lie. Like, it really sucks because he really gave me a lot of shit when I was growing up at how much I was into movies. And I don't know. But anyway, so yeah. But the first one I saw by myself, I believe, was No Holds Barred. Was before Batman 89.
By myself was Beetlejuice.
Ooh, Beetlejuice, nice. Lucky bastard.
But I gotta say, like, for weirdly, every movie I saw was the one I liked least out of all those movies that came out. So weirdly, Empire Strikes Back I don't love.
Really?
E.T., Blade Runner and fucking The Thing came out in the same month. Within 2 weeks of each other. Blade Runner bombed. The Thing really bombed. And then Superman 2 was good.
I mean, dude, I need to get those on Blu-ray for sure.
I didn't love it, but it was
Oh,
solid.
Tony, what the hell, man?
Listen, man.
He's only available on his tag team Thursdays because he's too good for us, but it's all good, Those East Coasters.
I'm an East Coast.
They talk, well, besides you, they talk a lot of hype, but they're really all talk. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, it's better than having during lunch at 1 a.m. my text going off nonstop about fucking pastrami.
Yeah, like fucking California people, which I'm not going to name, but,
Portland.
I'm going on at 3. Yeah.
Portland.
That's like, 3 my time, which is noon your time. Like, what do you not work during the day? What the hell? So, yeah.
So what would you say your favorite theater experience was?
All time?
Yes.
I mean, I'm biased. I would think it was obvious from the last stream we did, since John was so shocked how many times I'd seen it, but The Dark Knight. I mean, I saw it 16 times in the theater. However, I will say a really, really close... okay, so originally, probably Jurassic Park. Because my dad took me to that, and I was just fucking blown away.
I will agree. Independence Day, when I first saw it in the theaters, was a big one.
That was a huge... I remember waiting in line at a theater that doesn't even exist anymore out here.
Terminator
2? Theater.
Terminator 2 was a huge one.
Yeah, I don't think I was quite old enough yet to see that in theaters, but yeah, that would have been cool to see that.
The re-releases of Star Wars A New Hope was big. But as far as a new movie,
Interstellar, no question. When I first saw that in IMAX, holy shit. It blew my fucking mind.
So
I went back and saw it in IMAX 5 times, and I hate the IMAX theater that I saw it in at the time because it was at our science center, and it's got like a rounded dome. And I'm not a big fan of that because I saw Mission Impossible, like, I think it was 5 there. The one with Dubai, because I wanted to see the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises. They had like 3 minutes of that or something before.
It was the heist.
So the curved dome IMAX, like, it made the tall building in Dubai like curve at the top. And I'm like, I'm not feeling that. But 16 times. I mean, so, okay. So I had just moved to Chicago, like literally 2 months after they stopped filming The Dark Knight. And I had been like following YouTube people and like seeing all these videos. And I'm like, Heath Ledger is going to suck. I'm not going to lie. I was like, what kind of fucking casting is that for the Joker? I was like, all right, but it is Christopher Nolan. So I guess maybe I'll give it a shot. And I was pretty lonely when I moved to Chicago at first, and when it came out, and like that next year. So like I was like, you know what? I'll go see it, obviously. And then I even came back to Des Moines and watched it like 5 times with all my other friends. But so yeah, I ended up watching it like 15 times by myself, like 7 times in IMAX. And then when they did the triple feature when Dark Knight Rises came out, I got the pass for that and then watched it a 16th time. But up until that point, Jurassic Park was the most I've ever seen a movie in a theater. It was 7 times, I think. Granted, one of those times there was a tornado and it took out the power at the theater, so we got like a pass to come back and see it again. So that was technically the 7th time. But dude, like Jurassic Park and The Dark Knight, there's nothing higher. Well, I will say, okay, so most recently, Infinity War, as far as a theater experience, holy shit.
People crying in my theater.
Oh my God, like that was one of the most blown away experiences I've had as far as what the movie brought out. So I guess, yeah. So top 3, Dark Knight, Jurassic Park, and Infinity War for sure. I don't think we're ever going to see another Infinity War type MCU.
No.
We're kind of done. I hate to say it, but we're on the downslope of the MCU. As good as the stuff may be, we're still on the downslope. It'll never peak like that again, ever.
So this will show my age, but Batman '89 I saw 9 times in the theater.
Dude, that was so good. I think
I was starving.
Maybe 3 times. I was pretty poor back then, so I couldn't really see movies that much. But
now,
Taylor, you don't like movies. We get it.
Technically, in IMAX, sound-wise and everything, with everything going, 100% it was Dunkirk.
Oh, I was just gonna say Dunkirk's number 2 for sound and everything for sure. Naked's back again. Jesus,
man, they don't stop.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell. I guess I can't block people, but I can hide them.
It's saying an error occurred every time I try to put them in block.
It's probably a Russian bot. They probably hacked the YouTube thing so they can't be blocked out. So
the other movie that I would say I saw multiple times because I needed to make sure I was right in my initial Alita Battle Angel, like I watched it in the theater, I was like, did I love it because I was starving or did I love it because it was technically good?
I think I saw it twice.
I saw it twice in IMAX, and then watching it not in IMAX, I was like, no, I still like it.
This is fucking good, man.
Good. Like Robert Rodriguez
nailed it.
Probably his best movie outside of Desperado.
Arguably, yeah. Taylor, I'm just giving you shit, man.
Which Desperado, like Robert Rodriguez, he's kind of a schlock filmmaker. Like he leans into.
Well, technically, he did. Shit. Oh my god, what's that? Tarantino vampire-esque.
From Dusk Till Dawn,
right? He technically did that, right?
He was part of it, yeah. Like I don't know if he directed all of it, but he directed some scenes. And from Dusk Till Dawn, I'm not a huge George Clooney fan, but I think that is his best role because his best role is playing an asshole.
I don't know if it's his best. I mean, he's really fucking good in it for sure.
Oh yeah, like between that and like Tarantino playing like the weird rapey,
yeah,
Under the Sea. Ooh,
Under the Sea.
Kevin Spacey. The Bobby Darin movie.
Oh, Beyond the Sea.
Unless he's talking about.
Okay,
Marcy
so if you're talking musicals, that's
Little
one
Mermaid.
of like 3 that I like. Yeah, that's excellent. As much as I don't like.
So I've heard West Side Story is really good.
I have not seen that, but yeah, every Italian, talks about that movie.
Oh, yeah. Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek, that was peak Salma Hayek for sure.
I won't say I have like a dirty thing for oh god, what is the other Latina actress who was
Penelope Cruz?
Yes.
Oh god. Dude, I think every red-blooded American male has a thing for her, so it's all good, man.
There's just the sweetness to her.
There's
innocence.
Yep.
And the fact that she's like involved with Javier Bardem, who might be one of the best villains in all of cinema, which No Country for Old Men, say what you want about it, but Anton Chigurh is one of the creepiest villains you will ever see on cinema.
So I'm totally convinced that was it Vanilla Sky. I'm totally convinced I love that movie because of her. And she doesn't even have that big of a role in it.
The Jason Lee parts are kind of
Yeah, Jason Lee's all right, but Jason Lee.
Yeah, you got to go through the bitter to get to the sweet. Dude's missing half his face.
Funny story about, I don't know if I ever told this. I probably have. But when I used to work for Sears Credit, like back in, I think it was like 2000. like right out of high school. I got a call from a Jason Lee from New York to cancel his card that I don't think he'd used in like, I don't know, 5 years or something. And I was like, is this the same Jason Lee that's the actor? And he's like, maybe. And I heard his voice and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking Jason Lee. He's like, all right, sir, I can cancel your card for you. And he's like, thanks. And like, pretty much that was it. But it was just funny.
So I will touch on something that's been like weird Twitter arguments.
Uh-oh. Controversy.
Is Alien a horror movie?
Alien is, and then Aliens is an action movie, right? Isn't that
in my opinion, yes.
Okay, yeah.
But they for some reason, Alien they're saying is not a horror movie, and I think it's kind of a cross-genre movie. I'd say it's almost more on the suspense part because it's almost
it's kind of a thriller, I guess, horror thriller.
So it's where I sit with Zodiac, where I don't think it's a horror movie, but it's kind of in the in-between space.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I keep waiting now for a new Fincher movie to come out because now I'm like, after the Batman, I'm yearning for a new one.
I feel you there. Dude, Zodiac on that rewatch, that was so good, man. So well done.
It's another one of those movies I don't think gets talked about enough.
No. Well, there was a lot that year. I think there was a lot of good shit that came out.
Yeah,
so it was highly overshadowed for sure.
Like I hear people talk about The Social Network by Fincher more than I do.
I mean, it's good, but
it's the same thing. Like when we did Seven with John, where we're like, this is better than people talk about it. The Prestige also. The Prestige was the one that I 100% was like on rewatch. I was like, we're not talking about this nearly enough.
Dude, that movie, man, that should be ranked higher in Nolan's repertoire for sure. I wonder what Gore thinks about that because Prestige is awesome.
Hulu, Netflix, Prime. Marcy, just come over.
Recommendations for tonight.
Marcy, just come over. I'll put on a movie for us.
I mean, Rashid's not wrong there. Oh, shit.
Yeah, like...
Didn't we get the quality, famous game over, man? Game over from
Bill Paxton.
I mean, that's just fucking... That's perfect.
She survived for 5 days, but why don't you put her in charge, man?
Oh, shit.
Oh, what was it? Did anybody ever mistake you for a man? I don't know. Anybody mistake you? And then the knife.
Oh, shit. Fucking Paxton. He was even good in Predator 2.
Yes.
Which I think for him is kind of I mean, he's a loudmouth in that role for sure. But like, it's kind of a funny role, you know? And he gets wasted, of course, pretty fast, but by the Predator, but he was kind of a hero a little bit, even though he got wasted. So
yeah, like
he saved Leona, man. He saved Leona.
And then you find out the Predator won't kill pregnant women.
Yeah. I mean, rightfully so, you know.
So Marcy, in all seriousness, on Disney, everybody's talking about Moon Knight.
I gotta watch that, man. God dang it. I guess I'll watch it tomorrow.
I love the Hawkeye series.
Yeah, Hawkeye was great. Scarlet Witch was pretty damn good.
Ooh, black sci-fi movie. Ooh.
I know I saw one recently too, and I'm trying to think of the name of it.
I mean, that movie, what was it, Life? Was it Life? The one with the weird, like,
I have
Venom
not seen
kinda,
Evil Aliens.
The weird Venom kind of symbiote thing that would crush the guy's arm.
Did you like that? I was not.
It was okay.
I went and saw it in the theater, and I was like, yep, this is exactly what I thought it would be, and I was so disappointed. And even like the whole internet conspiracies about, it's connected to Venom and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, please, God, no. Please, God, no. It's honestly, like, this is just so dumb.
Oh, wait. 100%. Attack the Block. That is probably the most black-centric sci-fi movie I can actually think of, and that's actually kind of sad.
I gotta be honest, man. I don't know. It's been a while.
Because Attack the Block, I mean, that was done on the cheap, and fuck, the actor who played Finn in Star Wars, fuck, his name's escaping me, but goddamn, he was awesome in that movie. It's Moses.
Fuck, I forgot his name too. Yeah, Life's premise was actually not bad, but I thought the execution was a little...
John Boyega.
Yeah, I thought Life's execution was a little lacking, but yeah, I would say that. Yeah, Danny Glover, man, for sure.
He's getting too old for this shit. I never.
Dude, they're coming back for Lethal Weapon 5, is it?
I never considered.
He's definitely not too old for this shit.
I never considered Meteor Man actually a sci-fi film. Weirdly,
it's more like kind of a superhero, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
I guess
it's all preference how you. It's all preference how you put it. Yeah. I mean, you could almost say Chronicle, sorta. I mean, Michael B. Jordan's in it, but
Tenet.
Tenet is very science-related.
John David Washington, is that his name?
Yes. Okay. Who, after finding out who his dad was, fucking broke me.
Which I didn't know till after I saw Tenet. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Dude, I thought I am one of the few detractors because John and everybody else thinks that movie was emotionless, but I think it's a lot deeper than what people think. So.
I think it's the frame of mind you're in when it's on.
It may be, yeah.
You can pull stuff, because honestly, when I first watched Prestige and then when we rewatched it, the rewatch of Prestige, I picked up so much more than
I liked it like twice as much the second time I watched it too.
And all right, we're gonna
we're
gonna go into this now. So in Inception, I saw a theory. So Inception is one of those movies that has the ambiguous ending, much like The Thing, which weirdly I had a girl I dated who hated the end of The Thing but loved the end of Inception, and I'm like, no, they're the end. They're the same ending. You draw your own conclusion. So I
don't know, Marcia. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that. So The Thing, it's two guys sitting out there freezing to death, wondering if the other one's the thing. Inception, it is a top spinning, and it's kind of wobbling, but it hasn't fallen. And the big premise is, if it keeps spinning and doesn't wobble, or doesn't fall over, you're in the dream world. So there's an article I read that said that Leonardo DiCaprio has his character Cobb has a second totem.
I thought he had 3.
Well, his wedding ring is the one they were focusing on.
Okay.
So in the dream world, you will see the wedding ring is absent. In the real world, the wedding ring is there. So at the end, they're saying Cobb has got his wedding ring on, so he's in the real world. And I have not been able to pay attention enough to notice.
Didn't you rewatch it though?
I had plans to.
Okay.
And then I started pulling up clips on YouTube, and that was a mistake.
That's always a mistake. That's a rabbit hole.
But I do love this theory that he would have two different totems, possibly more, because of the dream within the dream within the dream.
Right. Yeah.
So I never finished Watchmen, Rashid, because it was during the time of the riots. And the shit got too real for me by the end of the second episode where someone was getting hung.
You should probably finish it, because I will say, as far as a series that wasn't continued, that was one of the best
Yeah, I was in an
Seriously.
emotionally bad place between what was going on in my
I
real
feel you,
life.
man. It took me a while to get through it. I finally did, but
Tales from the Hood was an interesting horror, like especially from a Tales from the Crypt kind of thing. Uh, also, guest I've had on the show, Rodney Barnes, who writes Philadelphia, is doing a book with Snoop Dogg called Tales from the Crypts, which is
nice.
going to be a gang-related horror book. Um, yeah, like
So anyway, so you didn't watch it to see if he had his wedding ring on still?
so I kind of saw it in one, but I didn't see enough clips with him in it, and I kind of love that there's this because
Ambiguity.
Nolan's a person who will hide shit in plain sight.
Yeah.
Because the Prestige we noticed on the rewatch, it actually follows the theory of the trick,
Right.
where we see the Prestige, it's the snake eating its tail kind of story. And 100% when I read that, I was like, holy shit, this must be real. Because that's kind of feels like the storyteller Nolan is, where he's showing you something that seems ambiguous, but if you're paying attention, it's really not.
Right.
And I failed in my wanting to rewatch, which just time's not allowing. But
I feel you, man. Like I said, I want to watch Doctor Sleep, the director's cut, which I probably will tonight, even though it's still getting late. I don't care. I got all weekend, so
yeah, which at the same time, like I totally believe Nolan would do that.
Oh yeah, dude. Everything. So I really think everything he does is so
Deliberate.
meticulously calculated and deliberate that I mean, people are still finding shit in Tenet, and it's been out for what 2 years now. So
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and even I noticed, and I've seen it like 5 or 6 times now, that I've noticed new things the last couple times I've watched it. So, and I just, God, I love that movie. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the end, like dialogue and message kind of deal, but I don't know. I think that if you have any problems with the movie throughout, I just think that ending kind of wraps it up in a bow for you that you should be able to appreciate and accept it for the deeper stuff that it is. But I guess some people just don't care. I don't know, but
I love a good theory. Like it makes me want to rewatch stuff. I mean, there's movies that have come out that there's theories still that years and years ago.
I feel you, man. Like, yeah, and so Pattinson is so great in that too. So great in that.
I feel he's kind of subdued.
He is, but he's very meticulous about how subdued he is. So
which
the details,
leads into some of the theories about who he might actually be.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's the kid. I'm telling you, he's the kid for sure, 100%. But because just the way they end, when he's like, when they're walking away, and he's like, "Yeah, we get up to some stuff. You'll see." Like it's just you just know that because he saved her, he saved him. And he ends up being recruited by him for the future to go back. Like it's just, oh man, it's just so fucking poetic. It's really.
And the more you watch his mannerisms, you start realizing whose son he is, and it's like, oh shit,
yes, for sure. So spoiler alert for anybody that might not have seen it, and I like how I don't know. There's subtle things that you'll notice after Kat gets shot. That when his character is kind of like taking care of her, that he's trying to avoid
giving a tell.
Yeah, personal reactions or giving a tell or anything like. But there are moments, especially like right after she gets shot, where you can tell that it's just a little bit more personal.
And John David Washington, if you haven't seen Black Klansman.
So, did I tell you about the story I tried to the time I tried to go see that in the theater?
No.
I think it came out pre-COVID, right?
Months and
Might
months
have
before.
been one of the
Might have been
movies-
before I was even following you.
Like, it might have been a little bit before COVID hit. But anyway, so I tried to see that in the theater. This guy next to me passed out sleeping and started snoring. And I fucking like kicked his chair and kicked him, and like he would stop for a second and then just kept going. So I went down and complained. I'm like, I can't watch the fucking movie with this going on. I don't know what to do. And they're like, we'll give you a pass to come back for a different time. So I only got about a third of the way through. I didn't even get to see it all. But what I had seen was really good. So I had to have my friends who actually stayed while the guy was still sleeping in there until they kicked him out. Like what happened and kind of how it went, but it kind of destroyed the whole experience for me. So I really just fucking
I watched it streaming.
I need to just go back and revisit it, but
he gives a pretty strong performance. And then after the fact, after watching Tenet, I was like, oh, that's who Sonny is. Fuck.
yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't know he was the son of Denzel till after I saw that movie. Because it might have skewed my opinion a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
We've hit the 2-hour mark, and it's way after midnight. So I think
what? We
we're
still got another hour, right?
You might. I don't.
I'm just kidding.
So next week it's going to be a late start because Fire Guy Ryan and Bearded do another live stream at 9 o'clock. So they'll be joining us at 11 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be a late one. I don't know if it's going to go 3 hours like the Batman one did, but
did it go that long? Damn.
It did. It went 3 fucking hours.
Jesus, I thought it was something like 2. But...
John was furious.
Maybe I only remember 2. I'm sure there's not many rewatches on that.
So
3 hours.
It has a pretty good view count. I
really?
saw.
Well, it's John, so you know.
We're going to be talking about Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. It will be the whole crossover crew. We may have D Comic Queen joining us, maybe not. I don't know.
What? That's a surprise. You gave away the surprise.
Yeah,
that would be awesome if she could join us.
I'm putting her on the spot because that's actually one of her favorite movies.
So
I've been trying to get her back on, and her schedule betwing having family time.
Yeah, I get it, man.
She just started with Shortboxed, her new career with them. So, but she is one of my favorite people in my personal and internet life.
She loves DC, so
yeah. Weirdly, she started being the Donut Queen, and then it became DC.
I did not know that. That's funny.
Yeah, so she might be joining us. She might not. I don't put the pressure on her normally of like putting it in the flyer. John, you're just finding out now. Surprise. But
Johnny watching. He's in bed. It's probably like
the best thing is
7 o'clock West Coast time.
Ryan had never watched this before. He had never watched an animated anything Batman.
Oh, Ryan, god damn.
Ryan has become my favorite contrarian.
Yes.
There's my first experience with him was on the last live stream on John's channel, which go check it out and watch as we get drunker and drunker going through the show.
Dude, Rashid, I think I rewatched it a couple years ago, and it was just phenomenal. Hands down, best DC animated, at least Batman movie of all time.
It is the best Batman movie. As soon as Greg said we can't count that or Batman 66, I
noticed you were a little disappointed.
Batman 66 would have been way higher than most people would think.
Hopefully not higher than the Snyderverse.
It would have been.
What the fuck?
So honestly, like I love Julie Newmar. I love the running around the pier with the bomb. It's basically Dark Knight Rises, where he's flying around with a bomb going, oh, I just can't get rid of a bomb.
Batman Forever is basically Dark Knight Rises. I was just thinking that when I rewatched the video link that I sent to Greg. I'm like, I don't know why he hates Dark Knight Rises so much. It's basically a serious take on the whole bomb thing.
I legitimately loved Anne Hathaway in that movie.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, Zoe Kravitz was definitely... So I was going to make a comment in our chat that because he was talking about how, or Ryan was talking about taking out the Joker in the Dark Knight, which I totally forgot about because I think I was a little inebriated. But, like, you know what? If you take Zoe Kravitz out of the Batman, what do you like about it? Because for me, walking away from the Batman in the theater, she was like part of the best stuff that I liked about the movie.
So for me, 100%, it was
okay. Colin Farrell, I'm sure you're gonna say he was great.
He was good, but no, like the entire Fincher of it.
Mm.
So the murder mystery
like it was too much of a ripoff. Is that bad? Because I really felt like
it was, but I thought Riddler was a different take and interesting, even though he was Zodiac.
So I liked the take, and I liked that it was different. I just feel that he was just too close to Zodiac for me.
And I thought Matt Reeves was like, man, I need to make a Fincher movie. At that point, why not get Fincher? Fincher would never fucking do a movie like that. But
just man. But I mean, I will say it's nice to see, like I said,
a detective movie almost.
Riddler and a detective movie, yeah. But again, I don't know. It's just not.
I can pick apart every Batman movie pretty much and find shit that just isn't for me.
I was just gonna say it's not my Batman. It's not for me, but I can see why, like, especially the newer generations might really love it. So.
Well, I think that's why I liked Batman. What was the Batman Begins? Because it was not like anything else.
True.
At the time. And that was the whole thing of
Batman in it, really.
Yeah, like it was one of those things where, and
I also think simultaneously is one of the downfalls of the Nolan trilogy, minus the Dark Knight Rises, which is pretty much all Batman in that.
But fucking Michael Caine is magic in that movie, and I love a great character actor, and Michael Caine going down to being a character actor was phenomenal, and Christian Bale just gave a different take than I felt he was a great Bruce Wayne, and he was a good Batman. And that might be why we got so much praise.
I can't remember. It was a different group, different chat group, but kind of got into it about as far as Alfreds go. Someone was knocking Michael Caine for his depth, and I'm like, it may not have been shown on screen, but you could tell, and especially in The Dark Knight, when he gave that backstory about being in Burma and about diamonds and shit, like, and being hunting the thieves in the forest or whatnot.
The size of a tangerine.
Yeah, he had a deeper story. It just it wasn't out front, and he didn't come out with it and explicitly tell everybody about it. So it's not like he's just a butler, like some people are always just a traditional. No, he wasn't out in the forefront with his past and history like some of the other Alfreds have been, like on the series of Gotham or even the new the Batman. So
I mean, it again, like if you had to make me choose between him or his part in The Prestige, what I thought was better, the part in The Prestige was better because he's basically telling the fucking story.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, I saw the interview with Nolan talking about why he had Tom Hardy as Bane.
Oh,
because of the eyes.
I don't know if maybe I have seen it. Okay, yeah, I've seen
it. Because he can act with his eyes.
And
that was the thing we talked about in Dunkirk, because he could act with his eyes.
Yeah, like everything he did with his eyes. I mean, you really don't see any of his face. It's just amazing, man.
Yeah, so like he was able to express with his eyes, and I'm like, motherfucker, this is exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah. Rashid hit it
Yeah, like
Sure.
let me do it again, but
I don't know about better. I have some reservations about emo Pattinson in the beginning of.
so I'd like to see what the second movie's gonna be. If there's gonna be a
Yes,
progression,
if
or
if he gets more, I want to see what the trilogy or whatever I'm sure Matt Reeves has planned in his head is going to be before I judge wholly on it. But
well, I love the Nolan of the scene they put out where everybody picked apart the part that the Joker took the paper clip out of the papers that Batman put through for him to study of the deleted scenes with Joker.
they took it apart. What do you mean?
They've been picking apart that, well, I think it was 3 minute scene with Joker and Batman talking. It was the deleted scene from the Batman.
Which I thought, okay, I'm going to say right now, which I think I said during the discussion, maybe not. I don't know if it was out yet. That deleted Joker scene was better than the whole movie for me.
You said it on Twitter.
Not gonna lie,
Not Twitter.
I said it on Twitter and Instagram, I believe.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that was 100%. I think I even Facebooked that comment.
So my thought was they're going for a Hannibal scene.
I mean, literally, yeah.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
It's 100%. But the little minute detail of the paperclip that was holding it together is gone at the end of the scene.
And that's what I thought when I saw it first. I was like, why would he fucking hand him that with the fucking paperclip? And then, yeah, so.
But yeah, it reminded me of Silence of the Lambs.
But it doesn't mean that Matt Reeves has to do the Joker in the next film, though.
You save that for the third. If you're going to do it.
Yeah, or he might not do it at all. You know? I mean, he might just be like a backstory, which I can understand.
It's the Thanos looming in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Like, you have your actor.
Cool. I'd be totally cool with that. But here's the thing. The people that are saying, and I think I said this on our
You did.
But like that the Joker should not be touched or whatever since no. You can't have Batman.
No, but Greg was very passionate about you don't do him in the follow-up.
The yin and the yang. You don't have a Batman universe without a Joker. You just don't. I mean, I'm sorry. I will say right now, even though I haven't read as many books in the last year or two, I'm one of the most diehard Batman fans. You don't have a Batman universe without the Joker. It's totally different. It changes the whole dynamics of Batman.
It's Spider-Man with Green Goblin. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's you know, pick your fucking evil or non-evil, whatever arch rival. It's them without that. Like, you just don't have it, you know.
So, like, for a sequel, if I were going to do it, I would still keep it pretty grounded into mob type shit.
I love that. I love that aspect, and I'm pretty sure I hit on that when we were talking and with Ryan.
So Black Mask.
You know, I love that storyline. Like Falcone, how they did Falcone, was fucking. I loved it.
So Black Mask would be one I would get into because he's kind of a mobster, but he's got a little bit of tragedy. Ventriloquist would be real. If you want to go with the serial killer thing, Mr. Zaz, who has the running tally of the people he kills on his body. I'd stay away from Bane.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think Bane at this point probably been a little overdone. Like, even though I think it hasn't been as religiously done as what the comics have done. Like, I don't think he's gotten quite his due yet. I do think Nolan got close, but I don't think he's quite got his, because I mean, obviously the Batman 90s, he was just a steroided Venom.
If you want to get real crazy, Calendar Man.
Yeah, I mean, it was just stupid. But like, and then Tom Hardy got close.
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow. Oh shit! Like
There's guys. I don't want to do any Algols.
honestly, I want to see Talon. I want to see Talon. I want to see the Court of Owls.
There's been rumors, but they set up Hush.
Yeah. Oh fuck! And I still need to read that. Can you believe? Okay, so I'm such a Batman fan. I still haven't read that storyline yet. I have some of the comics. I don't have all, but
weirdly, the Hush storyline I thought was okay, but Paul Dini did a whole run of called Heart of Hush.
Nice.
And it was in Streets of Gotham, and I just bought the omnibus for $70. All Paul Dini, who wrote Batman the Animated Series.
Amazon?
Yep, $70 for the whole omnibus, and
Nice.
it's some of the best Batman books I've read. The art's great, and they did a Joker backstory, but you don't know if it's actually Joker or not. Like,
Gotcha.
Some good shit in this, and
I'd be down with Red Hood.
It's too early for Red Hood because then you have to.
Third movie, you could do Red Hood.
My AirPods are signaling me they're dying.
What?
I just lost one ear. So thank you, everybody. We're gonna get out of here. It's been a good long time. Thank you, Rashid, Marcy, poor Mike, everybody else, Gore, of course. And thank you so much. And join us next week at 11 p.m. on this channel, and we will have the Contrarians on. There may be some arguments. I have a feeling Ryan's already setting up to say he didn't like Mask of the Phantasm. We can all tell him. We can all tell him our thoughts. There will be drinking. There will be broken emotions. Maybe some broken backs. We don't know. But take care. And of course, if you have any thoughts or if you think there's something maybe we should talk about, hit us up on Instagram. You can find us there. Take care, everybody. Good night and farewell.